You've all had the experience you talk to yourself. We've all had the experience here where we've pictured things, okay? And we have these feelings about them too. So this is how we represent things to ourselves. But the thing is, we collect these things from a very early age, and altogether they become a map of our reality. Now that sounds kind of fancy and intellectual, except when you consider this, most of our behavior and responses are based on the map and not what's really happening. Mm-hmm. And like any map, it has distortions, deletions, because it's not the original source. Okay, I mean, there's so many examples. Take the example of a couple where they get in a fight about something, and say one partner decides that they're going to really change, and they really start making an effort to accommodate the other partner. But the other partner keeps responding in the same old way because they're not seeing the change. They're reacting to this map, this thing that they know that his behavior, it fits this thing on the map, and so I should respond this way. We're not really looking at what's really happening. We're only responding to the map. And I try to make this as simpler. I came up with this little diagram. So stuff happens, right? Outside us or inside us. In other words, things happen, we see something, or inside us, we have some pain or something like that. It goes in, and there's a pattern matching process that happens. Does this match something that I experienced before? If it does, it generates a response and behavior. And you can just observe this happening all the time. If you haven't experienced before, then it gets added to the map. And it just kind of goes on like that. And our point of intervention with hypnotherapy is here. Mm-hmm. Okay, you can't change other people. You can't change external reality if there's a big fire or something like that. You're not going to change that. But you can change your response to it. So you've already been experiencing it, okay? So you have an experience of it, and now you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. There's an old Buddhist parable, I think, that really explains this really, really well. Very short. So the monk was walking on this path, and he's going home late in the afternoon. Some of you may have heard this. And on this path, and he heard there were some dangerous snakes. So you should be careful on this path. So he's walking along the path, and he sees this dangerous, poisonous snake. So he's immediately filled with fear. He starts to retreat, and he's getting ready to go the long way around, which is going to be a couple more hours to get home. And as he starts walking over, he sees the snake from a different angle, and he realizes it's a rope. It's not a snake. And as soon as he realizes that, the illusion is just gone, and the fear is just gone, and he can just go the way he was going. So I think this is a beautiful example of, first of all, the unconscious mind, the protective reaction is matching the pattern of the snake, and the reaction happens before you can even think about it. That's the way it works, okay? That's the way it works. So there's a protective reaction. But then there's the idea of this map, and then distortions in the map. You're not really seeing it as a rope. He's seeing it as the snake, because that's the internal representation. There's supposed to be snakes on this path, right? So he's seeing that because he's supposed to, not really looking at it. So many problems of ours are like this. Let me give you a really simple example. And this happens to me, and I get clients tell me this all the time. People will say, oh, they don't like me. They don't like me. How do you know? They just don't like me. Well, then later on, they go and talk to these people that don't like, the person who don't like you. And they say, why don't you like us? They think he doesn't like them. They're both just looking and seeing a snake, when it's really just a rope. All you really have to do is go up and say something, which brings me to this point here, okay?
What if it really is a snake?
What is what?
What if it really is a snake?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I mean, that does happen, okay. That does happen. You have to double check. But I think this is really true. Many, if not most of our limitations are illusory. Here, let me give you an example of this. When people will say to me in a session, why would they want to hire me? Why would they want to hire me? I don't think, I'm not even going to bother going for that job. Why would they want me? Well, why wouldn't they want you? It's just that you have somehow generated this idea that it's a snake, and you need to stay away from it when it's really just a rope, which is a total neutral thing. You can actually go ahead and make what you want of that situation. But I think this right here is a very, very liberating idea when you think about it, when you put it in this context. Okay? All right. So now we're going to move into what I like to think of as the Swiss Army knife, okay, of our practice. In general, I would say we are self-correcting creatures. We tend to correct ourselves. When you think about it, most of the time you have problems, you solve them yourself. If you get a cut, you heal yourself. Most people don't have something, a snake comes, or a bird jumps on them or something, you don't get a phobia of it. They somehow work it out themselves. But sometimes you need a little bit of help. Or we can benefit from a little help. And that is when you go to the physician who can give you a treatment, and that will kind of kickstart your body's natural healing mechanism. Or hypnotherapist, same thing, kind of kickstart the natural healing mechanism. Just like you can help the physician by eating well and getting exercise, you can also play a huge role in your own personal well-being by practicing self-hypnosis. And so I'm going to show you a simple way to do that, and I love this, and it's really, 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 really valuable.